Hey friend, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com. And today I want to give you a helpful, simple, practical rule you can use to help you make more music, write more songs, make better sounding recordings in the next 6 to 12 months. It's called the 80-20 rule of music production, and it goes something like this. The 80-20 rule, or Pareto's principle, tells us that 20% of our activities create 80% of our results. It's sort of a formula or ratio that you see all around the world, whether it's in 20% of a business's products generate 80% of that business's revenue, or if in like many churches or nonprofits, it's 20% of the people that raise 80% of the funds, or 20% of the people that do 80% of the volunteer work. You see this pattern of 20 and 80 all around the world. And it's a principle that we use in business. It's a principle that we use in organizational structure, but it is a principle that you can use in your music making. And this is where I'm going with this. Now, I don't know when you're watching this video. As of when I'm recording it, it's the end of a year. And so I'm looking back at the whole year, looking ahead to a new year, and thinking about this rule because I want to make more music, better music, be more fruitful, more productive in my music making. If you want to be more fruitful, if you want to be more productive, if you want to churn out more or better quality recordings or songs, this can help you no matter when you're watching this, because you can look back at the last 6 to 12 months of your music making journey, and you can look ahead to the next 6 to 12 months of your music making journey, and you can see where you've been and where you want to go. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to just think about the last 6 to 12 months of learning about this, whether you're brand new at recording or mixing or songwriting and you're just starting to gather knowledge, or if you are a wily old vet who knows so much, but you are continuously learning and investing in yourself through education. And I applaud you whether you're in either one of those categories, because you understand the value of knowledge, of education, and really knowledge applied, which is the best kind of education. Otherwise, it's just all up here. And so you're watching this video, and I applaud you. Think back though, for the last 6 to 12 months of all that you've watched, all that you've learned, all that you've read, whether it was my videos or a bunch of my friends who make great videos, or just the sea of stuff out here on the internet that you could be learning about for recording or mixing or songwriting or whatever. Think about all that stuff, and then think about the one thing that you've learned in the last 6 to 12 months that has had the biggest impact on your music. This could be a recording technique. This could be a mixing strategy or technique. This could be a specific piece of equipment that you finally got or learned how to use properly. This could be a songwriting method. This could be a way of organizing your time in your studio to make sure you're making music at a reasonable rate. This could be a type of music that you started to write or record that was different, that had the biggest impact in your audience or fan base. What is the one thing of the 5 to 10 or 100 things you've learned this year that really has had the largest impact, that you've been like, man, I'm so glad I learned X, or I'm so glad I started doing Y, or I'm so glad I got involved with Z? What is that thing that you know in at least the past 6 months or the past 12 months has shown greatest impact? Think about that for a second. Now, here's where the 80-20 rule comes into play. That one thing that you're thinking about is the 20%. It's the 10%, it's the 5%, it might be the 1% of all that you've learned, but has had 80% of the results, or 50% of the results, or 100% of the results. If that's true, the one thing that you know has made the biggest impact, you have proof of it. I don't know what it is, you know what it is. Then what I want you to do is, looking ahead to the next 6 to 12 months of your music making journey, whether you're a full-time songwriter or engineer or artist, or you just do this for fun on the side, your job is to take that one thing and do a lot of it in the coming 12 months. Basically, I want you to virtually ignore all the other things you could be learning or doing or implementing, to the exclusion of this one thing that has had such massive impact. Because if you want to have a lot of songs written, or a lot of great sounding recordings or mixes, or you want to collaborate with bigger artists, or you want to work with better clients, if you want productivity in your music making journey, and you know what has been productive and we know what has been fruitful already in the past 12 months, then don't reinvent the wheel. Do that, and do a lot of it in the next 12 months. This is literally how I live my life, okay? I am a constant learner. I read books. I watch documentaries. I read blog articles. I watch YouTube videos. I watch TED Talks. I go to masterminds. I sit under teaching of smarter people than me. I have friends that are smarter than me, and I ask them questions all the time about different topics. I love learning. But what I do is when I find things that work, whether it's something that helps me with my money and my finances or my investments, something that helps me grow my business, something that helps me with songwriting, something that helps me with my relationship with my wife or with my daughters, something that helps me with my music, whatever it is, in whatever sphere of my life that thing is, where I find something that gets me results, I just do that thing a lot. So when I find something that works in my business, I do that a ton. When I find an investment that works, I put a lot of money and intention into that investment. When I find a rhythm or a way of interacting with my wife that produces a lot of genuine connection and enhances our marriage and our love deepens, I try to do a lot of that. If I connect with my daughters in a way that they just feel loved on and we have a lot of fun and we have deep connection, try to do a lot of that. A good example of that with my kids I was thinking about recently is I take Fridays off. I don't work on Fridays just because I just don't want to, and I'm really blessed that I don't have to work every day, and I'm grateful for that. So I try to take advantage of that, take Fridays off every week, and I like to go have lunch with my daughters at their elementary school. My youngest right now is in kindergarten, my oldest is in third grade, and so I go and they have their lunches back to back, so I spend about an hour plus at their school, have lunch with one for 30 minutes, lunch with the other for 30 minutes. Sometimes I bring them a lunch, sometimes they have their own lunch and we just show up, but we just chit chat about the day, how school was, what's coming up after lunch, how they're feeling, what we want to do on the weekend. Mostly I just sit with them, snuggle with them, talk to them, and just give them one-on-one attention for lunch. I did this once or twice a year or two ago, and my oldest daughter just continued to ask me, when are you going to come back for lunch again? Dad, can you come to lunch today? Can you come to lunch today? It really made a huge impact with her just going to lunch. Now, we do all kinds of stuff together, but it seemed like going to lunch with my oldest daughter resonated in a huge way. The same was true with my youngest daughter. I did it with her once this year and she just wanted me to come back. So I thought, okay, I'm not an idiot. They love when I come to lunch with them on Fridays. So why don't I just do more of that? I will have a bigger impact, be able to connect with them in a way that I know is productive and fruitful and meaningful. Let me do more of that. Take it back to music. Years ago, I learned the benefit of mixing in mono. As you may have seen, I talk about this a lot, have a video about why mixing in mono is the secret to getting great mixes. It is a simple little way of thinking about mixing and a tool and a philosophy and a trick you can use that always produces better mixes. Once I learned this, I do it all the time. I lean on that. I bank on that. I don't try to reinvent the wheel with new mixing techniques. That works, and it helps me deliver a more balanced sounding mix every single time. So I use it all the time. These are just some examples of how you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to absorb hours of new videos in the next 6 to 12 months to get better at recording and mixing. You've probably learned something in the past 6 to 12 months that has shown you a massive impact. And what I'm asking you to do, if you want results in the next year, is to identify what that one thing is. It takes a little bit of thought, but just think, what is that one thing with your music you've seen the most amount of results? And then all I'm asking you to do is do a whole lot more of that intentionally in the next 6 to 12 months. It sounds obvious, but this is how you reap massive results. Is you just find what's working and you do a lot of that. It's easy to get distracted. I mean, right now, where you're watching this video, the internet, YouTube, is just filled with so much stuff. Most of it's crap. A lot of it's good, though. Let's just say all of it was amazing. That makes it even worse. That means there's too much amazing stuff to absorb that we just get overwhelmed or we forget the good things we've learned. The way to be successful in your music journey is just to identify the few things, the 20%, the 10%, the 5% that generate 95% of your results, 90%, 80%, and then do a lot of those things over and over and over again. Simplicity is king. Intentionality is king. Knowing what has worked for you, and it's going to be different than what works for me potentially, but knowing what's worked for you in recent history, you have tangible proof of it. and then intentionally applying that to the next 6 to 12 months is the only way to guarantee you'll get better results, more songs written, more recordings that sound better, better sounding mixes, more releases to the world, growing your fan base. Whatever it is you're trying to do, you're going to get those results if you apply this 80-20 rule to your music creation. Now, I want to ask you a question, real simple. Let's get a conversation going. Leave a comment right here below the video and let me know something. In listening to this video, what is coming to mind for you that is the 20%? What have you learned, whether from me or anybody else, doesn't matter. What have you learned in the past 6 to 12 months that you think is your 20%? That small one of the millions of things you've learned that really has had massive impact on your music in the past 6 to 12 months. Just write it down in a comment below and let us know what it is. Is it a piece of gear you bought that you finally got to use and learn how to use properly? Is it a mixing technique? Is it a recording technique? Is it a time management strategy for working in the studio? What is it that has worked for you in the past 6 to 12 months? It doesn't mean it's going to work for the rest of us, but I'd love to see a list of those things just to get an idea of what you're learning and what has impacted your music the most. And I think what it'll do for you is help you clarify your thoughts, because then you'll know exactly what to do a lot of in the coming year. That's it for today, my friend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part. If you are stuck and you want to get a boost on your music moving forward, something that might help you is my Radio Ready guide. I talk about it a lot because it's just a great starting off point, especially if you're going into a new year or you're thinking about the next 12 months as a fresh, clean slate for you. Let's get your songs from here to a digital release and make them sound amazing. And the best way to do that is to make sure you walk through all 6 steps of what I call radio-worthy or radio-ready songs. So just download this PDF guide. I think it'll really, really help you, especially as you think about what has been your 20%. Doing a lot of that and walking through this framework of song creation, you're going to be able to bang out songs that sound really, really good in your home or bedroom studio with the gear you already have. You don't need to buy anything new. So check out this free download I put together for you at radioreadyguide.com. Put the link right here and in the description box. Other than that, my friend, have a great day. Make some great music. I'll see you on another video real soon.